Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We are in conversation with, of course, an actor who needs no introduction. He's live with us today in our studio, right here in the heart of the national capital. We have Adivi Sesh live with us. Adivi, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction.
Great, yes, great to have you, as I said, in our studios, and to do this, of course, physically. How's it like for you in Delhi?
It's good. As I was just saying to you right before we rolled, I find Delhi to be the city most similar to Hyderabad in terms of everything, culture, weather, the amazing, the amazing way the people are. I just think there's a lot of similarities among both the cities. And we have the famous biryani and you have the famous food here, so it's always nice.
Yes, absolutely. Before I get to, of course, films, which is what we always talk about with you, let's talk about your style. You're looking very uber cool today. You've also, of course, won a style award that's also in your repertoire. So what defines your style statement? What goes through your mind?
मैं बहुत lazy हूँ.
अच्छा.
हमारे luckily ऐसा हो गया कि मेरी जो stylist है रेखा, she's like a family member now. माँ जैसी है मेरे लिए. So वो बस सजा के मुझे भेज देती तो मैं पहन लेता हूँ बस. Truth be told,
इतना आसान.
It's everything's based on comfort. Yeah. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं. Comfort is there.
पर जब मैं fashion statement आपको बोलूँ, Sesh's fashion statement, तो वो क्या होगा?
Classical. I really like your outfit. I like classical ideas. Okay. Guys looking sort of solid and sleek. I like that idea. तो वो मैं थोड़ा पसंद करता हूँ. तो आप किसी भी 1960s का मूवी ले लो, वही मेरा फैशन है.
Okay, got it. Now let's of course talk about this big gap. Now of course that gap is almost done because you made a big announcement. There are a lot of 3 big movie releases next year. But why did this gap happen? Is it sometimes unplanned for an actor, or is it something that you had planned to take a break for a bit? Just tell us about this gap in the filmography.
See, 2022 was a fantastic year. मतलब major भी था, और I did another Telugu film called Hit, The Second Case. And it's a big franchise in the south. तो बहुत बड़े hits हो गए थे, and it's strange क्योंकि मेरे लिए COVID के बीच में I had my best year as an actor. Then I started thinking इससे बेहतर कैसे बनाना है, and then I started writing G2. I write a lot of my own scripts. तो G2 लिखते लिखते ऐसे 1.5-2 साल हो गए. And we ended up announcing another film called Dakat. So Dakat bhi, I sort of collaborating with my best friend. He's the director. तो दोनों passion projects, personal projects बन गए. Usually actors क्या करते हैं कि यार 5-6 साल में एक बार शायद उनका एक passion project हो जाए. बाकी time they're just going with scripts जो उनको offer करते हैं. यहाँ पर ऐसे हो गया कि दोनों personal projects हो गए. So I think I'll have 3 releases in 25. नहीं वो अगर ऐसे नहीं करता तो 23 में 24 में 25 में हो जाता. So I feel it's like the 3-year quota in 1 year. That's what's happening.
Exactly. अब 2 के बारे में तो आपने बता ही दिया. Can you tell us anything about the third or not?
नहीं, it's not announced yet. Okay. तो मैं bता दूँगा तो foreign producer से phone आएगा and then.
But it's not something you've written.
No, it's not. It's
okay.
not.
Okay.
But I am acting in it.
You're acting in it. Okay. Straight from being a major to being a dakat. ये कैसे हुआ?
My mom said that to me actually. कि यार ये major में था army officer, hit 2 में police officer था, अब suddenly चोरी कर रहा है, क्या हो रहा है करके. I think it's a very heartfelt film. It has a tagline called एक प्रेम कथा, so it's a love story. It's a very rough film. Okay. लेकिन ये rough लोगों के बीच में, ये rough लोगों के emotions में क्या softness है, that's what the film is about. It happens on the borders of Andhra and Karnataka. Okay. तो वहाँ पर जैसे हम्पी के जो boulders होते हैं, वो rough arid area में very soft emotions is the idea.
Okay, nice. And if we talk about G2, what's the USP of G2 for you?
So G2 is sort of a next chapter in the Gudachari franchise. Gudachari was a film.
Huge film.
Yeah.
You don't need to introduce it.
Yeah,
huge.
When we did it in Telugu, it was just this low budget film जो हम कुछ नया try कर रहे थे, but it ended up revolutionizing the spy genre in South India. So it became such a big thing that there was a bidding war for it, for the Hindi remake. And I decided not to remake it. कि मुझे नहीं बेचना है किसी को. So we decided to bring the franchise into Hindi.
Okay.
So G2 is bar we're bringing it as an all India film.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the biggest film I've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, Imran Hashmi's in it. He's got a fantastic lead role in the film.
Yeah. I think there's a picture of the two of you as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think he's fabulous. Other great actors like Murli Sharma, bunch of actors, Jagpati Babu, you know, just. But I think Imran gives it a sort of a real new edge.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of Hindi actresses also that we're about to announce who are the female leads in the film.
Okay. You know, but when you're working on a sequel, there's obviously all that. It's doubly special, of course, but it's doubly there's that responsibility as well on your shoulder. You know, because the first film has been such a huge hit, so there are expectations naturally. Does that put pressure on you, or you don't think it that way?
Bahut. I think G2 will open on par with a lot of big films in India. And I think it's because of the expectations. It enjoyed a great home video fan base as well. मतलब satellite पे लोग you know streaming पे देख के even in Hindi the Hindi versions got some 150-200 million views. So there is a big हाँ वो picture हम जानते हैं वाला feeling that's there for the film. It's got a big base, and I think the trick with a spy film is ऐसा कुछ मत करो जो सब कर रहे हैं and at the same time कुछ नया दिखाओ. At the same time whatever I liked about part 1 उसका याद दिलाओ.
Yeah.
So
Major के साथ भी था कि you know it of course released in Hindi as well, along with the South version. That's the same I think for G2 and for Dakat. Is that correct?
Like
what was
so the whole thing with Major was we shot 2 separate films. एक हमने तेलुगु में बनाया और एक हमने हिंदी में बनाया. तो हर सीन, हर शॉट, हर डायलॉग अलग शूट करो, अलग ट्रीट करो. कई जगह सीन का ट्रीटमेंट भी बहुत डिफरेंट था बिकॉज शायद in the Hindi version the punchline comes in the beginning. In Telugu the punchline will come in the end. So we treated the scenes differently when we made 2 different films for Major. You know, and I think that's what we're doing with Dakat as well.
Okay. But you know, for an actor, how difficult does that become? Because you're concurrently, literally shooting 2 different films.
Because you're thinking in 2 different languages. मतलब हम जब हिंदी में कर रहे हैं, वो डायलॉग को अपनाना और उसको, you know, to think as the character, as a Hindi speaking character is very different than to think as a Telugu speaking character. So, you know, normally maybe my take will get okayed in 3 takes. It's taking 6 or 7 takes. उसको पकड़ने में.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's a challenge.
You know, also it seems that you're a man with multiple talents, because of course you've been director before. We'll get to your previous filmography in a second, but you know, writer as well, and you're writing these 2 projects as well that you were telling us about. For you, how did that passion for writing firstly start, and also how challenging does that become? Because you know, you're writing and then you're obviously trying to emote what you've written as well parallelly.
You know, it was completely out of necessity. I grew up in San Francisco. तो उस वक्त जब एक्टर बनना था, हर कोई कहता है यार हॉलीवुड तो पास में ही है, 4 घंटे का ड्राइव है, चले जाओ. तो हम जाके ऑडिशंस करते थे वीकेंड्स में. और जब हम ऑडिशंस करते थे, दे यूज्ड टू ऑफर रोल्स लाइक टेररिस्ट नंबर 3, पेट्रोल बंक गैस स्टेशन अटेंडेंट नंबर 2, सॉफ्टवेयर एम्प्लॉई, यही मिलते थे. तो रियलाइज़ हो गया मैं कि यार वहाँ पर तो ब्राउन टॉम क्रूज तो है नहीं, ब्राउन ब्रैड पिट तो है नहीं. दैट्स व्हाई आई मूव्ड टू इंडिया एंड I wrote my own scripts because I didn't know anybody. I don't come from a film family. तो यार हर चीज़ में एकदम हैंडीकैप्ड हो, किसी को नहीं जानते, और ऊपर से मैं उन एक्टर्स में से नहीं हूँ जो ऑडिशंस को एस कर सकता है. क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं एक छोटा सा ईगो ये होता है कि यार 2 बंदे इस कमरे में बैठे बैठे हमें जज कर रहे हैं, क्या वो जानते हैं ऑडियंस को क्या चाहिए. वो एक दिमाग में आ जाता है. सो आई डिडंट नो हाउ टू पिच माई सेल्फ. तो मैंने कहा क्यों ना हम खुद की you know एक स्क्रिप्ट लिखें, you know, so that it covers your weaknesses and increases your strengths. That's how it started.
Wow.
My film Kshanam was my sort of first big hit. It was remade with Tiger Shroff as Baghi 2 in Hindi. तो एक satisfaction मिला कि यार हमारी जो मूवी है, and it's till date Tiger Shroff's biggest hit.
It is.
So there was a satisfaction कि यार the movie I wrote, it is a 260 crore hit in Hindi. Okay, that is the value of the idea. चलो अब से हम खुद ही करेंगे हिंदी में.
But you know, are you enjoying how now the finally and about time the lines between North and South are blurring. The lines between languages are blurring now, with of course the box office hits we've seen from down south, and the fact that these pan-India films are being made with South actors and North actors in them. And G2 of course also is in that space, and they're working at the box office. So for you as an actor of course from down south, what do you feel about that?
See, I think हमारे लिए वो lines हमेशा blurred थे as South Indians, क्योंकि one big classic film for me was Premalayam. That's हम आपके कौन in Telugu.
Okay.
When I was growing up. So lot of movies जो all time classics हैं हिंदी में, मैं तेलुगु में देख चुका हूँ.
Wow.
So and we sing the songs in Telugu. So for us the lines were always blurred. I think अब ये होने लगा है कि यहाँ के audience के लिए भी वो blur होने लगा है, and that's beautiful.
Yes. Okay, we have to now just quickly go back into memory lane and ask you were telling us of course about how the journey in writing began, but how did this idea come in your mind that you want to be in the film industry? Do you remember when it happened, what
so.
age and how?
I think so. I remember being 4 or 5 years old. Dad was an aspiring actor. He's a doctor. He's a pediatrician. लेकिन उनको hero बनना था. मुझे याद है. And the legendary director K. Vishwanath Garu offered him one of the 3 lead roles in his film, but Dad had an accident that put him in the hospital. So I think कहीं ना कहीं उनका वो dream कभी पूरा नहीं हुआ. And then वो ऐसे ही रह गया. And then once he saw that I was interested in cinema, looking at him, उनके photo shoots, वो सब बचपन में देख कर, he started encouraging me. तो मैं ये I can even say that I have been more encouraged than most star kids in that sense. जो मेरे माँ पापा मेरे लिए जिस तरह का support दिया उन्होंने. He bought me my first video camera at 12. Acting करने record yourself. So things like that.
Okay. And also very early in your career of course, अब डकैत आ रही है, मगर very early in your career you've played characters of grey, in fact a negative role, and audiences loved you in that. But आपके दिमाग में ये था कि I don't want to do too many such grey shades or roles with negative avatar, because then you may be typecast. और आप बिल्कुल chocolate boy हैं, good looker हैं, मैं यहाँ ना फंस जाऊँ. Did you have that in your mind?
100% सर. मतलब फंसने का डर नहीं था, बट ये था कि यार खासकर साउथ फिल्मों में अगर आप एक विलन का रोल करने लगोगे फिर यार वही किस्म के रोल मिले. अच्छा इस मूवी में हीरोइन को हैरास किया, चलो अगले मूवी में भी हीरोइन को हैरास करो. सो आई डिड अ फिल्म कॉल्ड पंजाब, पवन कल्याण सर्स फिल्म. आई वाज द विलन इन दैट. दैट वाज माय सेकंड फिल्म. तो 3-4 मूवीज, आई थिंक माय 5th फिल्म वाज बाहुबली, एंड उसमें मैंने एक विलन का रोल किया था. I was like, कहीं ना कहीं उस time I was like, no, I have to stop the idea of being a villain and shift into a lead role. तो कहीं ना कहीं that education जो बाहुबली पे मुझे मिला, मतलब मैं राजमौली सर को देखते जिस तरह, it was like film school for me. Right after that, I did Kshanam. So that's when my switch into being a hero chain happened.
Okay. Yeah. When you look back now at your career and there's an award that's given after IPL matches these days. It got introduced a couple of years ago, and obviously it's become a hit. It's called Game Changer of the Match. The player who changed the course of the match for his team. So Game Changer का पुरस्कार उसे मिलता है. आपके लिए which film or role do you believe has been the game changer for you?
I think I've had 2 of them.
Okay.
I think, or maybe even 3. Kshanam was the film that sort of told people कि यार हाँ ये हीरो बन सकता है. I think Gudachari was the first time people started referring to me saying यार हम आपके fan हैं, हम आपके लिए थिएटर पे जाते हैं, हमारी पूरी फैमिली आपको देखना चाहती है. I was like, oh okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि it's just a good film. ये है they want to watch me. And then I think in terms of just most personal film, it's Major. Which also introduced me to the Hindi audience. I carry the legacy of Major Sandeep Unikrishnan with me in a very, very big way. Aaj tak मैं हर महीना I talk to Amma and Uncle. I'm not just in touch with the family, but I feel like I'm part of the family. In fact, Sandeep sir's brother is going to be hopefully moving to Hyderabad soon, and maybe working with us. So just I feel like that responsibility of India's son, and to sort of carry forward that legacy, just as कि याद दिला रहे हो उनकी memory की, लोगों को भूल ना जाए उनके sacrifice को.
Wow, so amazing. for you, you know, donning the uniform as we're seeing, of course, in a couple of these pictures, how was that experience? And also, as you said, playing a real life character, a lot of, you know, responsibility.
Yeah, I think I've become much more quieter after Major. I'm not, because I feel more responsibility. Whatever you say, उसका एक value है. बस अपना opinion ऐसे बोल मत दो. So I've become wiser, and you know, the opportunity to meet everybody from Shri Yogi Adityanath to Shri Uddhav Thackeray to Shri Rajnath Singh, all of them supported the film. You know, and उन्होंने अपनाया film को. Recently, I got a call from the CMO's office saying, "Arey, when's your next Hindi film coming? हमें देखना है." So it's like all these things are happening because of Sandeep sir's blessings.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, time to wrap up, but we're going to wrap up on a lighter note, rapid fire style. So some quick questions and quick responses from you. Are you a beaches person or mountain?
Beach any day, any day.
Okay. You spoke about biryani, of course, at the start of the interview, but apart from biryani, what's your favorite dish?
Dark chocolate.
Okay.
Biryani khake dark chocolate khao.
What a combination. I hope Delhi is going to be your favorite destination soon. Magar abhi, aapke liye favorite destination kya hai in the world?
Goa.
Okay.
I have a home there, and it's a lovely, lovely place.
Okay.
And for most Delhi people also, Goa.
It is. We are infamous for going to Goa. Absolutely. If you could time travel to any particular time, where would you like to go?
2004. I think just when, you know, in my teenage years and just coming into, I think that time, I would relish it more.
Okay. And final question, for a lot of youth, of course, you are their role model today. For you, who has been your role model or your idol in the industry?
Definitely Mahesh Babu sir and Pawan Kalyan sir. I think both of them have played a big part in my career. Mahesh sir produced Major, and Pawan Kalyan sir made me popular with the audience in Punjab. So I just think that their contribution to my career is you know, incalculable.
Okay. And finally, you know, you've had some free time as well in this gap, as you said, which wasn't planned. Actually, not too much now when we look at the fact that you've got 3 years next year. But in your free time, what do you enjoy doing, Adivi?
I run to go as much as I can.
Okay.
मैं भी दिल्ली वाला बन गया उस मामले में. You know, and I love trying different cuisines. अब वो it's become a new interest. ज़्यादा खाने की बात नहीं है, right चीज़ खाने की बात है.
चलिए. New cuisines like dark chocolate?
Like dark chocolate with hazelnut versus dark chocolate with orange. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, and wishing you all the very best. It seems like 2025 is going to be your year. So more power to you and more success to you for the year that's coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
And finally, before we go, quick Diwali wish for our audiences. It's festive season. So what would you like to say to them, and any plans that you have?
Hi guys. Please celebrate Diwali with your family. मिठाई खाइए और wear new clothes. Try to say no to firecrackers, but say a lot of yeses to beautiful lamps around the house, and make sure you celebrate with your families.
Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.